Much better this year as we are heading into what is typically our wettest month. The most recent snowpack readings show water content in the Sierra is about 150% of normal for this date. The next reading is on January 3rd, when totals will likely be even better following another round of heavy snowfall. Now, several of the state's largest reservoirs are also showing healthy totals. And taking a look at our weather forecast, as we were talking about our rainfall totals, a little more rain on the way for the Golden State. It all depends, though, where you live. The current forecast shows showers in Los Angeles and Santa Cruz, tomorrow in San Francisco, Tuesday for San Luis Obispo, where we are, and dry throughout this period for most of the Central Valley. Temperatures staying in the 50s for the next few days, with the warm up into the 60s for the southern portion of the state. In the new year this morning, Randall, I was a little bit late, came out and found a coating of ice on the Prius.
Oh, really?
Yes. And the Prius was saying to me, I think it was complaining that it was colder than freezing. It had a little warning alert symbol.
Oh, yeah.
Snowflake. And I had to pour water all over because I wasn't successful at scraping.
You know how I feel about those temperatures, don't you?
Yeah, about the same that I do. It was really cold this morning when I was coming here.
Yeah. Oh boy, we still haven't turned the heat on at the house.
You're still hanging in there.
Yes.
I admire you. I caved in a while ago, especially I have zonies. I have the Arizonis visiting, and they're freezing. Even when I have the heat on, I have it set for like 65 to 68. I think that's warm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
right?
That's nice.
And they're walking around in leather jackets and freezing.
And just complaining and
My mom's in the kitchen with a scarf, like a knit scarf around her neck.
Right. Oh, my gosh. So, Patty, have you been doing a lot of eating out or cooking at home?
Gosh, with the big family, we really have done more eating at home.
Yeah.
It's hard to get 8 people all moving in the same direction in a timely fashion. So there's been a lot of, and I made a huge Christmas dinner. So I've been very inventive with what, to do with the leftovers.
Right.
Reinventing, mashed potatoes in little pancakes, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, good. And other than the cold and everything, I imagine the family's having a good time.
Yeah, we went ice skating. We went and saw the ocean. The 4-year-old, my little niece, hadn't seen the ocean, so that was fun to see her.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
That would be exciting. All right, well, stick around, everyone, because coming up in the next segment, we are speaking with Oceana. That's a group that takes a look at the health of our oceans and seafood issues, specifically in this case, seafood fraud. And so we'll be hearing from them with a recent study that they just did. Now, they did it out of New York, but they've tested the West Coast as well in the past.
Right, other places. Was Boston one of the places they tested?
I feel
like
Boston
it was.
as well, Los Angeles, and they've found similar issues. So we will have them coming up just after this commercial break. So you are listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network on this Sunday morning. Great to have you with us, everyone. We are back in just a moment. But first, we want to tell you the holidays may be winding down, but Restaurant Month here in California is just getting started. As January unfolds with a wave of culinary diversity, the hottest place in the state to take it all in is along the Central Coast in San Luis Obispo County. Featured on local menus are ingredients grown on nearby farms, savory seafood caught that day in the Pacific Ocean, and grass-fed beef raised on the county's lush green hillsides, all served with a touch of Western flavor unique to the region. SLO County is perfectly situated to acquire the state's freshest produce, meats, and dairy products, all chosen, prepared, and perfected by chefs who know how to blend this bounty of flavors. And not only are these offerings among the best in the nation, but these foods are paired with top local wines, craft brews, and then the outstanding scenery of the Central Coast. When considering your 2013 New Year's resolutions, be sure to include an education for your palate, an experience that can only come from visiting the culinary destination that is San Luis Obispo County. Oh, and I'm sure saving money is on your list of resolutions as well. Perfect, because participating restaurants are offering substantial 3-course menus for just $30. This is your opportunity to save on some of the establishments you've talked about visiting but never have, or revisiting some of your old favorites. San Luis Obispo County's 6th annual Restaurant Month runs January 1st through the 31st, but don't wait until the end of the month to start taking part in this annual tradition. New Year's Day is Tuesday, so make your plans to spend your holiday stay the right way. Make reservations today, now, before your coveted seats are taken. For more information, head to SanLuisObispoCounty.com and start planning your next mouth-watering adventure. Again, SanLuisObispoCounty.com. And welcome back to the program, everyone. 8:19 the time. Great to have you with us. I'm your host, Randall White. You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. I'm joined by the lovely, talented Patty Pyburn. Hello, Patty.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, and hopefully you're getting us just fine wherever you're listening. The music's not working, sadly, but Nope, and then that's okay.
Everything you try isn't working.
Everything I try is not working, and the problem is we can't really correct it while we're on air. So You're just going to get a lot of us talking, if that's all right with you. What I need to know right now from our producer is, do we have the Oceana people on the line? No. Okay, bummer. So just one more added thing there. So Patty Pyburn, do you happen to have that study up in front of you? Because we can chat a bit about we can say what they're not saying for us.
Right. Yes, I have the study open, and as a sushi lover and someone who eats fish, even if it's not in sushi form,
right?
It's really disappointing to hear this. Honestly, this was something I was ignorant about until you started researching this topic, but yeah. 39% in this recent 2012 study that Oceana conducted in New York, 39% of fish that they tested was not what it was labeled to be.
Really?
So it was something like a red snapper is a common one, was substituted with other types of fish, and not all of them are good choices. I'm looking at this chart. Red snapper was substituted, I think, with tilapia, but there's another kind of fish that it is substituted for that can have high levels of mercury. I'm getting back to that place where, let's see, white bass, gold-banded jobfish, tilefish, porgy, sea bream, ocean perch. These are all substituted commonly for red snapper, but the porgy is one that I believe I was reading is not desirable. It can have things like mercury in it that it's something you would want to avoid, obviously.
Now, in many cases, where the fraud is in place are items where you spend substantially more money for this high-grade fish. Sushi restaurants, I believe, were one of the largest offenders.
Mm-hmm. In fact, 100% of the sushi bars that they tested in New York were selling some amount of mislabeled fish.
100%.
Yes.
That doesn't mean 100% of the fish being
Of the
purchased.
ones they tested.
Yeah, 100% of the locations, and then at those locations it might vary.
Some portion of mislabeled fish, commonly tuna.
Commonly tuna. And tuna's the one that most people order when they go to a sushi restaurant.
So what their findings, of course, it's isolated to the restaurants that they tested, but 94% of white tuna was in fact not even tuna. So their study shows when they did the DNA testing, it was a fish called escalar, snake mackerel, and that particular fish has a toxin in it that can make people ill if they eat,
Right.
more than a small amount of it.
Yeah. Yikes.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
It's really alarming when you think about it.
That is alarming. What I see here, Patty, is that this most recent study is out of New York City, but other studies recently found shocking levels of mislabeling in, like you mentioned before, Boston. 48% of the fish purchased, the DNA testing showed it was not what it was labeled at the grocery store, at the restaurant, at the fish market, wherever you may be buying it. It was not correct. 48% in Boston. Los Angeles, 55%. So more than half
Wow.
of the fish that
They tested.
in the Southern California region, Los Angeles, was not correct. So that would be the one closest to home for us here. Miami did better, but still 31%.
Right.
When a third of the fish you're buying isn't right. That's not good, right? So in this 2012 study, the most recent one, the mislabeling in New York City was in this same realm of
Right. So and here's something that I find interesting. So 58% of the 81 retail outlets, so they went to markets where you might buy fresh fish. And
Yeah.
they're talking about, a wide variety of places you could buy fish. 58% mislabeling. 3 out of 5 places that they tested mislabeling.
3 out of 5.
That includes small markets where it was higher. They found 40% of fraud happening in smaller markets, but also national chain grocery stores. 12% of the fish they tested was not correctly labeled as to the type of fish that it is.
And
in
that
fact.
was the most accurate labeling. The 12% was
Yes.
the most accurate of all the different types of locations where you could purchase fish. The national chains did the best, and I feel like it should be 100%. If
Right.
if you're running
Really?
if you're running a national supermarket chain, you really need to be on top of that sort of. I mean, no matter what you're selling, you should be. So I'm wondering where the fraud comes in, and this is what I wanted to ask the Oceana people. Is the fraud coming from the distributor?
At what level does it
where-
enter the system?
Right. Where does the name change? Is it
The supplier.
the distributor, or the operation that's selling it to the retail
Right.
outlet?
So it could be that a restaurant thinks it's purchasing tuna and serves it with that belief, not knowing that it has actually bought.
Right.
So yeah, that's unclear as to where that is happening. I also want to add to, we talked about the fish, and I was saying porgy was one. It's actually tilefish. Tilefish is on the FDA's do not eat list
Oh,
because
So-
it is very high mercury content. So the FDA says this is not a healthy food choice and literally says don't eat it. It is commonly substituted for red snapper and halibut, especially according to their findings in small markets.
oh, okay.
So it's tilefish.
Tilefish. Interesting. So I think just like with knowing your farmer at the farmer's market, knowing where your fish comes from is an excellent idea. Now, I know that Morro Bay has this, and other places it has sprung up. Morro Bay was the first on the West Coast, but it is community-supported fisheries.
Right. So it's the same, that CSF, same like a CSA. So just like the vegetable baskets that you might buy fruit and vegetables, it's the same type of thing. You get a fish basket, so to speak.
Yeah, and I was part of that for a while through a local one here on the Central Coast, and once a week we would get fresh fish delivered to our home that came from anglers, fishermen located
Right.
in Morro Bay, and I would love for that to get tested because I'm sure I don't know, everything that they sent us was, it seemed to me, was dead on.
It's very, very fresh, because you're getting it literally out of your backyard. But what's great about the CSF in Morro Bay, and I'm sure in other communities, is that you really can know your fishermen. You can go
Right.
out there, talk to them, the suppliers directly, the people who are bringing it in. And so that adds that kind of farmer's market element of knowing more about where it's coming from and having that relationship and trust in the person who's supplying it for you.
Right. Now, I'm super excited to speak with next hour. We'll be speaking with executive chef Neil Smith. He is the chef at a wonderful spot called Windows on the Water in Morro Bay. I can't wait to talk with him about this study to find out what tools he uses when he's ordering the different fish and such to make sure that when he's selling red snapper, it's red snapper or whatever the case may be.
Yes, or another one that we didn't mention, salmon, often substituted with saying it's wild caught, but really being farmed.
Right.
That's a common one too. Like, they'll never know that it's farmed salmon
How do you fake Oh, I see. Farmed instead
of wild caught.
Right.
That's a small one, but apparently, according to the study, a frequent happening.
A frequent one because people really want their wild caught. They're worried that
It's
the farmed
different.
will have higher levels of heavy metals in it. So, yeah, I'm one of those. I always look for the wild. Well, what I do, it does not always. I shouldn't say that. What I do is I follow the Monterey Bay Seafood Watch program.
Great guide.
And I have it on my iPhone. I have the app, but you can also keep a little handy in
Little
your
insert
wallet.
for your wallets, like business card size.
Yeah. Now they're updated constantly is the
Yes.
thing. So that's why the app works really well. And the apps are free for the Android phone and also for the iPhone like I have. And I've been standing there in the whatever the grocery store might be looking up to see. And sometimes the farmed is the optimal choice.
It depends on the product you're buying.
Right, exactly. So anyway, that is the latest study. It's oceana.org, and it's exactly like OCEANA.org if you want more information on that. Now, stick around because this next half hour, we're bringing in Phil Green. He's the author of a wonderful book called To Have and Have Another. It is Hemingway's,
that.
Hemingway's favorite cocktails. And then also, he is one of the founders of the Museum of the American Cocktail. And so we'll talk with him about some, we're heading into New Year's Eve. And so what cocktails would be appropriate for that? You're listening to
That'll
the
be fun.
Eat Drink Explore Radio Network. I'm your host, Randall White. And we want to let you know that January is restaurant month throughout the entire state of California. But the folks in San Luis Obispo, the chefs there, San Luis Obispo County, really make some top-notch meals. And here's the greatest thing, Patty. So for $30, you can get a 3-course meal at the top restaurants and sample
Good
some
deal.
places that you may have hesitated to go to, because you were wondering whether you could afford to eat there or not. But no, for $30, you can really try the best of the best. If you want to see an entire list of participating restaurants, head to SanLuisObispoCounty.com. That's SanLuisObispoCounty.com, because you have 31 days facing you of some of the best meals out there.
You can try all the restaurants.
That's right. It is restaurant month. All right, welcome back to the program, everyone. Great to have you with us on this Sunday fun day morning. I'm your host, Randall White, joined by the lovely and talented Patty Pyburn. Good morning, Patty.
Good morning, everyone.
Yes, and so it is just a couple of days before the end of 2012.
I can't believe it.
I know, New Year's just around the corner. Wow. And we've got lots to look forward to. Including, depending on where you're going, perhaps a New Year's cocktail or so.
Perhaps.
Just perhaps, right? Well, we had a book that we bought the other day online just because it sounded fun, and we had seen some cocktails listed from that book. So we thought, you know what, let's get that.
That sounds fun.
It's called To Have and Have Another, right? And it's the story of Ernest Hemingway and his favorite cocktails. Well, months ago, I had planned to have the founders of the Museum of the American Cocktail on the show at the end of the year to talk about cocktails because we're heading into New Year's. Little did I know when we ordered the book that the author of that book was one of the co-founders of the same museums. So it's just weird timing. And I thought, all right, now it's just destined that we have this gentleman
meant to
on,
be.
right, to talk about cocktails and where they originated, specifically California. I'm interested in some of those. Phil Green joins us right now with a look at cocktails, and welcome to the program, Phil.
Oh, thank you. Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year to you as well. And so how did the museum get started, first off?
Well, you had a group of people, 2004 timeframe, who were passionate about the great stories and the great history of different drinks, the origins of the different cocktails and the way it's sort of interwoven in with American history and world history, and just wanting to tell that story.
Right.
And because so many of the great drinks have great stories behind them, the personalities and the venues and things like that. So it all came together in New Orleans in 2004, 2005. And we've been there since then, and we're in a little temporary hiatus right now. We're about to move into a new location with our partner, the Southern Food and Beverage Museum, and we'll be reopening in the spring of 13. But it's going to be a fabulous facility on Aretha Haley Boulevard, which is a historically African-American shopping district, formerly known as Dryades Street. So
I'm sorry, formerly known as what? There was a little bit of static in the line there.
Dryades, Dryades.
Okay.
A lot of the street names in New Orleans are based on mythology or mythological, Old Greek and Roman names. So.
Oh, interesting.
So, Phil, I haven't seen your book yet, To Have and Have Another. It's at Randall's house. But it's really intriguing. And I'm curious if you mentioned anything about the Harry's Bar in Venice and that whole ashtray story. Is that mentioned in your book?
I have a couple of Harry's Bars in the book. Hemingway used to go to, he wrote Across the River and Into the Trees in 1949, 1950, and spent a lot of time in Venice. So you have Harry's Bar stories attached to that, a couple of drinks coming out of that venue, and he has a lot of mentions of it. And then there's also Harry's New York Bar in Paris, and he spent a lot of time there. So I have a sub-chapter of the book called The Trouble with Harry's.
Oh, okay. So do people still swipe the ashtrays from those bars?
Yeah, there are a lot of places that I guess part of their budget is just knowing that people are going to steal
They're going to take the ashtrays.
Or the ashtrays or that sort
It's
of
a
thing.
marketing tool, too,
Yeah. They factor that into the cost of the drink.
Exactly.
I think it's funny that there'd be places that still have ashtrays in
Right.
California, right? Or New York, for that matter. The smoking rule's been in place for a long time.
Well, I just bought an ashtray from the Stork Club, which was another Hemingway haunt. I bought it on eBay for like $20 or something like that. But
Wow. And so at the Museum of the American Cocktail, I imagine, well, first off, I just heard on the radio the other day that the cocktail itself originated in America.
That's the it's sort of how do you define the cocktail? But the first time, there are some people who say it's in Britain, but we can trace it back to the late 1790s. And the first time it was defined in print was in a New York newspaper in 1806. There was sort of a very cheeky editorial written on a recent election and how much money the candidate had spent on booze. And although he spent all this money on different things to drink, including a significant quantity of cocktails, he lost the election. So somebody wrote a letter to the editor and said, "What's a cocktail?" And so the editor wrote a reply to the letter to the editor and said, a cocktail is spirits of any kind, sugar, water, and bitters. It is come to be known as a bittered sling, and it's an excellent electioneering potion inasmuch as it renders the heart stout and bold, and it fuddles the mind. And it's said especially to be a great tool for a Democratic candidate, because once you've swallowed some cocktail, you're ready to swallow anything.
That quote came from when?
May 13th of 1806, so it's over 200 years ago.
Right. And so since then, over the past 200 plus years, several different combinations of liquor and mixers and water and such have been combined into some very popular, famous drinks. How many of those originated in California? Are there some that you can name that we'd say, oh, yeah, I know that drink?
Yeah, the classics that immediately come to mind linked to California are, well, the whole tiki movement came out of Oakland and Los Angeles. Trader Vic's and Don the Beachcomber. So you have the famous drinks of those places like the Mai Tai and the Zombie. Also, I guess the most popular spirit in the world today is vodka, and one of the early drinks that launched vodka as a spirit would be the Moscow Mule. That was from 1940s. Nobody knew what to do with vodka back then. It was this exotic ingredient from, exotic spirit from Russia. So they combined it with lime juice and ginger beer in a place in Hollywood called the Cock and Bull. And that, became a very popular drink, the Moscow Mule. And you can still find it today. A lot of places have revived it, and it's a great drink.
So funny that the Mai Tai is a California original when you would instantly think that it's a Hawaiian, right?
Polynesian. Yeah, I guess it was Trader Vic was in his bar one day in Oakland and had some visiting friends from Tahiti, and a lot of the Polynesian languages are very similar. And in Tahitian, Mai Tai Roa means out of this world or the best or something like that. So he made this drink for his friends, and that was their response when they tasted it. So the name stuck.
The best.
How about the Irish coffee? I understand that they're in San Francisco on Fisherman's Wharf. That's its origins. Well,
it's sort of where it landed after it was allegedly invented at Shannon Field in Ireland. When people would take the old PBY Catalinas, the flying boats, and they would across the Atlantic, and they would be chilled. The transatlantic flight was kind of rudimentary. And they would land, and at the airfield, they would be served an Irish coffee. So, can't think of his name, but he brought it to San Francisco. So it's sort of been transplanted there, just like the Pisco Sour has been transplanted in the Bay Area.
Oh, right. The Pisco Sour, which is a South American cocktail, correct?
Right. It's actually in the Hemingway book, because Hemingway is said to have set the record for the number of Pisco Sours in one sitting. Oh. While he was fishing, they were filming his Pulitzer Prize winning novel, The Old Man of the Sea, and they were filming it with Spencer Tracy down off the coast of Peru. And there's a place called the Cabo Blanco Fishing Club, and he spent a lot of time at the bar. He would go fishing trying to catch a marlin so they could film it, and then he'd go and have a few Pisco Sours.
Now, what about drinks like the California Cooler? Do they have a place in your museum?
Not yet. We're waiting for $100,000 grant from us. No, I'm kidding. That one I don't know if it has a place yet, but we have a lot more square footage in our new facility, so maybe we'll find a place for that.
I love that you're expanding. I think that's fantastic. That means there must have been a great deal of interest in the original location, and which would warrant you having larger digs.
Well, I think it's just sort of indicative of how the American palate is growing up. I mean, for many years, we drank jug wine, we drank bad coffee, we ate Wonder Bread, and Italian food, was just sort of the standard, noodles and red sauce, and cocktails are a culinary expression, or they should be, and then when you realize, well, they were 100 years ago, and what happened? Well, Prohibition happened, and then sort of the Americanization of products happened, artificial ingredients and things like that. So now, craft bartenders are getting back to the old school way of doing things and fresh ingredients, and with that, they're bringing back the old stories and the old old drinks and the vintage barware, and there are a lot of stories to be told, and a lot of great old Americana, graphic arts, old products.
Right.
Things like that.
There's controversy around a lot of the different cocktails as to their origin, right? Do we have
like competing stories?
Yeah, do we have a
sure.
definitive on margaritas?
There are a number of stories with the margarita. There are a number of stories with the Manhattan. The drink that brought me into this. I'm sort of a history buff first and foremost. The Sazerac was allegedly the world's first cocktail, and the people of New Orleans will tell you wholeheartedly that it was the original cocktail, and it was invented in part by one of my ancestors. So I should be the last person to disprove the myth.
Right.
But, I went and did that. He was my ancestor Antoine Peychaud invented Peychaud's bitters. That's true, and they were used in the original Sazerac. That's true. But the drink was not around before 1806. That definition I just read to you. He was born in 1803, which I was able to prove. And a friend of mine is a tour guide down there, and the first time I met him, he said, "You have no idea how terrified of you we are." That I was going to ruin one of their great myths.
Right. Yeah, you don't want to do that.
It's like, I'm a descendant of Christopher Columbus, and I'm the guy that figured out that the Vikings got here first.
Oh. Right. Phil Green is who we're speaking with. He is a co-founder of the Museum of the American Cocktail, and I don't have your book in front of me. What's the exact title?
It's called To Have and Have Another, a Hemingway Cocktail Companion, and it's a collection of 55 different drinks that are all found in the pages of his novels, short stories, letters, biographies.
I love it. Phil, we got to let you go there. Phil, have a great new year.
Thank you very much. You too.
All righty, everyone. We're back in a moment. And a very good day, everyone, as we want to let you know that as the holidays wind down, Restaurant Month here in California just getting started. January unfolds with a wave of culinary diversity, the hottest place in the state to take it all in along the Central Coast in San Luis Obispo County. Featured on local menus are ingredients grown on nearby farms, savory seafood caught that day in the Pacific Ocean, and grass-fed beef raised on the county's lush green hillsides, all served with a touch of Western flavor unique to the region. SLO County, perfectly situated to acquire the state's freshest produce, meats, and dairy products, all chosen, prepared, and perfected by chefs who know how to blend this bounty of flavors. Not only are these offerings among the best in the nation, but these foods are paired with local top wines, craft brews, and outstanding scenery, of course. When considering your 2013 New Year's resolutions, be sure to include an education for your palate. An experience that can only come from visiting the culinary destination that is San Luis Obispo County. Oh, and I'm sure saving money is also on your list of resolutions as well. Well, perfect, because participating restaurants are offering substantial 3-course menus for just $30. This is your opportunity to sample some of the many establishments you've talked about visiting but never have, or revisiting some of your old favorites. San Luis Obispo County's 6th annual Restaurant Month runs January 1st through the 31st, but don't wait until the month is almost over to start enjoying this annual tradition. New Year's Day is Tuesday, so make plans to spend your holiday the right way. Make your reservations now before your coveted seats are taken. For more information, head to sanluisobispocounty.com and start planning your next mouth-watering adventure. For the latest video and information from today's show, head on over to eatdrinkexplore.com. We're constantly updating it with the latest food, beverage, and travel trends. Also, we're launching a new section of the site called California Love. This is where we recommend great companies, and the best part is every single business we feature is locally owned. We've checked them out and are confident you'll love them as much as we do. This is a great tool to have as we head into the holiday shopping season. Since you're already spending money, you might as well support your neighbor. We choose businesses that give back to the community, care about the environment, or use only the freshest local and organic ingredients. They also make their products here, not overseas. Our California Love business recommendation tool is still in the development stages, but will be available very soon at eatdrinkexplore.com. Eat Drink Explore Media, your lifestyle information source.
You've waited all week, and it's finally here. The Eat, Drink, Explore Weekly Travel Deals Extravaganza.
And a very good day, everyone. I'm your host, Randall White, joined by the lovely, talented Patty Pyburn, and it is time to hear insight from the best of the best, the gurus of bargains, the luminaries of budget travel, and this week, we welcome Steve Lassman with Villas of Distinction to the program. Steve, good morning to you.
Good morning, Randall. How are you? Happy holidays and a happy new year.
Yes, I know. We're starting to wind down. My birthday's January 3rd, so I feel like the holidays end then. So I drag it out an extra 3 days. And we're taking the RV to a spot in the desert, Palm Springs, that I like to do this time of year to celebrate New Year's and my birthday. I know friends who go to Palm Springs and book a villa every year. It's something I've never done, but your website, Villas of Distinction, is how people can find what? The top best of the best places?
We offer villas around the world, as you saw, Randall. We have from one-bedroom apartments all the way up to 42-bedroom estates. Whether you're looking for fun in the sun, within the Caribbean, Mexico, Hawaii, you want to rent a private island, we have private islands. We have Italy, France, Greece. You want to ski out in Colorado. I mean, we can offer something for everybody from price points that will match just about anybody's budgets and tastes. And really, it's with us, it's all about the experience.
How do you secure these properties?
Well, what we do is we work with partners in each of the destination. We go out, we physically go out and look at these properties. We stay in many of these properties. We've been doing this for over 20 years. So, we do have a list of standards that we look for. And then we bring them to market, and we stand behind everything we sell. And really, the X factor in all of this is our staff. Our staff has an average tenure of renting villas with clients for over 10 years. And we also assign a personal concierge to every customer that reserves with us. So
nice.
Once you make your booking with our staff, they turn you over to one of our concierges, and they're there basically to put together the experience for you. Because it's one thing just to rent the home, it's another thing, to have the whole experience. So, for example, if you were going to Europe, obviously we would want to create maybe a wine tasting experience for you, or maybe you want to take cooking classes. These are the things that our concierge will put together for you. So you're not going there blind, going, well, what should we do today? Or, well, I'd like to do a wine tasting. Where do I go?
Right.
We take care of all of that. And like I said, we've been doing it for over 20 years, and my staff, like I said, has an average tenure of 10. So, we take great pride in that. We take great pride in the fact that, people come back again and again each year. And, really, we take pride in the fact that these people become our friends, and you get to learn about everything that's going on in their life. And things like right now, I mean, I can't tell you how many Christmas trees that we decorated and had placed in villas, for people that wanted to celebrate Christmas in a beautiful villa.
Ooh, I like that idea, having
That's
the Christmas
nice.
tree all set up and take them
Yeah.
down, take the tree down too. That's the hard part.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, there's if you've got the idea and you've got the wherewithal, we'll get it done for you.
Steve, let's get to, you have 5 villas that you've picked from the site that are currently featured that you like, and let's start with the one in Antigua.
Okay, I mean, well, you picked the top of the top of the line to start. This villa is a 3-bedroom villa. It's called L'Aqua. It's right on the beach. It's located on a private island, which is called Jumbie Bay. So what the people would do is they fly into Antigua, and then Jumbie Bay picks them up by private boat and takes them out to the private island at Jumbie Bay. Jumbie Bay is a resort that's surrounded with villas, your own private villa. So the reason I picked this one, this is a little bit more on the upper end of the scale. So from a pricing standpoint, you're looking at about $7,500 per night. However, that is 3 bedrooms, and it's all inclusive. So you get your own private chef, your own private butler, your own housekeeper. My chef and the chef at Laqua is Steve, an incredible chef. You go in every morning and you decide, you know what, I was playing games with him. There's no way he could make this tonight. I'm like, all right. So here's what I want for dinner tonight, Steve. And he loved the challenge. And what you could do is you could have dinner in the dining room. They could set a table for you on the beach, like our last night there. We had a beach barbecue.
Wow.
If I told you the things that we ate, you name it, he was barbecuing it right on the beach with the water at your feet.
That's fantastic. And worth the price in that case. That's a bucket list location for people. They got to save up for that one.
Absolutely. And you have the full use of the resort. So if you don't want to stay in your villa and you want to meet people and go, they have dining rooms and restaurants. They have a full beach, and they have all the activities of an upscale resort. So you have the best of both worlds there.
It sounds
And there's
amazing.
And there's no cars on the island, so
Oh,
everyone
I like
rides
that a
bikes.
lot.
Everyone rides bikes, or you
Wow.
get golf carts. So it's just a wonderful experience.
Very cool. Where's our next location, our next villa?
Riviera Maya?
Okay, the Riviera Maya. The reason I picked this particular villa, this is the Azul Villa Corolla. This villa runs anywhere from, depending upon the season, $2,500 a night to $5,800 a night. And the thing that I like to tell people is, don't get scared by the numbers, because remember, you're talking about per night, divide out by the number of bedrooms, by the number of people that are staying there.
Right.
So if you have couples or friends that are going together, it is a very reasonable cost. This particular villa is 6 bedrooms right on the water. This is an excellent villa for families to go away together. It's also good for 2 families to go away, because they have 2 master bedrooms that are identical. So if you had 2 families, you're not going to have anybody fighting over who's going to get the better bedroom.
Right.
You have two exact replica bedrooms. The other nice thing is it's right next door to the Azul Resort. So you have the full service, again, of a resort right next door. You're right on the beach, but yet you're private. Again, it's a private area. The thing that I love about villas versus going to a resort, especially during the winter and especially like right now, you eat when you want. You don't have to make a reservation at the restaurant. You eat when you want. This particular villa, again, also comes with fully prepared chef that will make meals for you.
Riviera Maya has become an incredibly
Wow.
popular area in Mexico, too. I think it's one of the top growing tourism areas.
Absolutely. The beaches are phenomenal. You're not far from Cancun if you wanted to go in for nightlife. So if you did go with a family, you could, the teenagers or the young adults, they want to go in and party a little bit. They can go into Cancun and have some fun and then come back out. And we recommend, either renting a car, or we can arrange for private driver, which is a great thing, because then you don't have to worry about where you're going, what you're doing.
This is my style of vacationing,
Yeah.
Steve. I got to tell you, we have
Sounds
less
nice.
than a minute for you to describe the place in Tuscany, and I apologize to give you such a short amount of time, but
So much to cover.
Time is flying. Well, this is the Villa Catroni that I pointed out to you. It's an 11-bedroom villa, but this villa is part of an estate, Randall. And when I talk about an estate, it's it can accommodate up to 33 people.
Oh.
They have 5 villas on this property, and trust me, when you're standing in any one of them, you still have the privacy.
That'd be
You're not-
great for like a family reunion or something,
Oh.
and everyone chips in. Like you said, the price isn't nearly as bad. Well, we have a couple of others. We'll list them all on the website for you at eatdrinkexplore.com, or you can go to villasofdistinction.com. Steve Lassman, thanks for joining us. We'll have you back on sometime soon.
Oh, my pleasure. We talked too much and went so quickly.
I know. It always does. Happy New Year to you. And
Thanks,
stick
man.
around,
Happy New
everyone.
Year
We
to
have a whole nother hour of Eat, Drink, Explore Radio straight ahead. Hope your day is off to a great start. Ours is, and we're back in just a moment. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly. Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're easy to find. The URL extension for all of those sites is simply Eat, Drink, Explore. Thank you for your patience. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly. Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're easy to find. The URL extension for all of those sites is simply Eat, Drink, Explore. Thank you for your patience. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly.
You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. Now here's the host of our show, Mr. Randall White.
And a very, very good morning to you. Happy final Sunday, fun day of 2012. I am Randall White, joined by Patty Pyburn.
Good morning.
Yes.
Last fun day
I know,
of
can
the
you
year.
believe it?
No, it's
Wow.
gone by so quickly.
It really has gone by quickly. And I just realized that last hour, I'm not sure that our audio was up on the video stream.
Okay, we were
and-
having those technical difficulties.
Right. And yesterday was my parents' 62nd wedding anniversary.
Oh, right.
And I don't know that they even got a chance to
They-
hear me say,
They might not have heard.
right. So Carolyn, Earl, my two wonderful parents that live up in Lincoln, a very happy anniversary to you yesterday. If you didn't hear me say it the first time around.
Yes, happy anniversary.
Also, this hour of Eat, Drink, Explore Radio is brought to you by the wonderful people at Eberly Winery in Paso Robles. This is one of those family-owned wineries. You know, that's what we love to promote here on Eat, Drink, Explore. Open daily from 10 in the morning until 6 o'clock in the afternoon with complimentary wine tasting and cave tours every half hour until 5 o'clock. Voted by Wine Spectator as one of the best tours on the Central Coast. Please give them a call or just drop on in and let them know you heard about it on Eat, Drink, Explore. Right here on Crush 92.5. Eberly Winery is located on Highway 46 East. That's as you leave Paso Robles and head on over to the Central Valley. You can log on to eberlywinery.com, EBERLE winery.com. So, Patty, you have family in town. We have
Yes.
New Year's just a couple of nights from now. Wait, New Year's is tomorrow night. New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve is tomorrow night. Yes.
Right. So what are your plans? You're staying local.
Yeah, I usually don't like to go out for New Year's Eve because I'm one of those people that's a little bit afraid of the other partiers who are out on the road. So
Smart.
yeah, I'll be doing something quiet either at a close by friend's house or at our house. We haven't determined yet, but it'll be tame.
Yes.
I don't like to be out and about on, with all the other people on the
No.
road.
I walk wherever we're going.
Smart.
Yeah,
Yes.
always. Typically, we do New Year's.
It's so
in
many
Palm
years in the
Springs.
news business of reporting the morning after
Right.
car crashes and what have you that have turned me into this homebody.
No, I know. Your why is to do that.
Yes.
Or you can go to for instance, our friend David out at the Cliffs, Marisol. It would be good to go to a place that's combined with a hotel.
And you can just stay there.
Right.
Walk over to your room and call it a night.
Because transportation is the issue when
Yes.
it comes to New Year's. And so absolutely designated driver. And in the case of me and my friends, a driver is almost always a taxi driver.
Yes.
Because we can't.
No one wants to sign up to be the DD, the designated driver.
But when you think about how little you'll spend on a cab here in San Luis Obispo County, you can get... You can get somewhere for, at the most, like $40 or $50 would be the top end of wherever you might have to be taken. It beats the possibilities. Absolutely. Trust me, that's a drop in the bucket compared to everything else you could encounter if you get behind the wheel after drinking. So
right.
That's just our big push heading into what is one of the big party
Safe and
nights
sane.
of the year. Safe and sane. And I know in the city of San Luis Obispo, there are a lot of organizations that will take you somewhere for like $5 or free even,
right.
Tipsy Taxi and those sorts of things. So, check out all your options and have
And
one
make a
person
good
in charge
choice.
of gathering the keys. Because that's,
while everyone is still on board. After a few drinks, then
they're like, no, I'm fine.
I'm good.
Right. And so
the judgment goes out the window.
It does, and so we're just, trying to make that mark now.
Yes.
Okay. So coming up this next hour, we've got some wonderful guests, including a chef from right here on the Central Coast that will join us in the last half hour. We're talking trivia up next. Call us now, 707-TRIVIA-8. 707-TRIVIA-8 if you want to play our little game. It's super easy to get through to us, 707-TRIVIA-8. We're back in a moment. It will be a while before we see the labeling of genetically modified foods, but that doesn't mean you can't be a smart shopper and head to the store armed with knowledge. Our California Love website has a list of local companies producing food right here in California that are GMO-free and, in most cases, organic too. Head to CA, as in California, LUV, as in shorthand for love.com. It's that easy to find our list of local companies with your health in mind. You can also find this list on our Apple and Android smartphone and tablet apps, which are absolutely free in the App Store. Simply search Eat, Drink, Explore and download it to your device. Our California Love website also contains a vegetable and fruit chart so you can more easily buy local produce that's in season. Also, fresh and local recipes from the farmers market. Head there, check it out right now. CALUV.com.
You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network.
Fabulous.
Live every Sunday with the very latest food, beverage, and travel trends.
Amazing.
Now here's the host of our show, Mr. Randall White.
A very good morning, everyone. Great to have you joining us here on this final Sunday of 2012. We made it. Another year peeled off.
Here we are.
And here we are. Looking forward to a fabulous 2013 and a fabulous last hour of our show here. Did I mention I'm Randall White and that I'm joined by the lovely and talented Patty Pyburn?
If not, it's worth mentioning again.
It is worth mentioning again, especially the second half of that sentence. So, Patty, great to have you here. Thank you so much.
It's fun to be here.
Absolutely. So here's what we have coming up this hour, Patty.
Okay.
First, we have our trivia, and I want to let you know that if you are within the sound of my voice right now, you are welcome to call. You're not playing for anything today, no prizes.
Just for fun.
But it's just for fun because it's Sunday Fun Day. But if you pick up the phone right now and dial 707-TRIVIA-8, 707-TRIVIA-8, you can play our little game. Patty's put together a few questions. I haven't seen the questions yet.
We will test your knowledge on New Year's resolutions.
That's right. And so, it's New Year's resolution. That's the category?
That's the topic.
All right, 707-TRIVIA-8. And we want to let you know that coming up this half hour after our trivia segment, we will be speaking with Jenny Hatch. She is with the Sierra Avalanche Center. You know, they've just had a major dumping of snow over the past, weeks now. The Sierra looking 150% of normal for the snowpack right now, which is great. The water content up there. You know, when you have that level of water content, that means that you have lots of water for crops coming up in the next summer. You also have lots of snow for skiers.
Yes.
You have lots of water for recreation coming in the summer as well. It's just a win-win-win. It's money in the bank up there. But when you get too much snow all at one time, and then you get winds as well, it creates some snow formations that are just ripe for an avalanche. And there are some danger areas up there to, you know,
I think last week there were a few avalanche.
There were. Yeah, absolutely. And so we'll be speaking with Jenny to find out how they monitor these snow situations and where to avoid, you know, what not to do, I would imagine.
Some of the signs that you might be looking for if you're out recreating. And sometimes they trigger them to try to control them.
Exactly.
It's very fascinating. I can't wait to hear more from her.
Yeah, so Jenny will join us on the line here in a little bit. And then the final half hour, he's already arrived here at the studio, is executive chef Neil Smith. He's with a wonderful restaurant in Morro Bay. Called Windows on the Water, and he'll share some of his cooking tips with us. And so if you want to impress some friends this New Year's with, you know, check this out, this dish, or whatever it may be. I'm not exactly sure what he's sharing, to tell you the truth, but I know that he's going to be sharing his expertise.
It's going to be good.
That's right. And so when we speak with him, you'll learn a lot, we'll learn a lot, and now we'll all learn a lot with some questions that Patty has put together. And Patty, nobody took us up on our trivia.
Nobody has called in.
So, you know what? I haven't looked at the questions.
Okay, so would you like me to quiz you?
You can, and I'll be in charge of the trivia sounds over here. So,
all right.
Let me just open up the right folder. And all right, now, take it away. You can start
Question
asking
number
me
one.
questions. Yes.
What are the top 3 New Year's resolutions generally?
Okay.
This is from a study out of Scranton, done in a month ago.
Okay. So the top 3, let me guess. That was our buzzer for when it's...
You're out of time.
I'm out of time, but give me a little more time. I'm making the rules here as I go. So, because I'm not winning. I'm not playing for anything.
A 4-year-old just told me that last night, and she was winning, and she said, I am the boss of the game, and so I don't lose. So
I like that. Okay, I'm going to guess number 1 will be to lose weight.
Yes, number 1 is to lose weight.
Okay.
Number
2 will be to... something to do with finances.
get organized.
Okay, get organized.
And number 3 is spend less, save more.
Spend less, save more.
This was released in, I think, one of the journals of psychology just within like the last month. So,
and what percentage of people that make those? Is that your next question?
That's my next question. So,
Okay.
45% of Americans generally, like routinely, make resolutions. So there are some who like 1 year will and 1 year won't. But for people who do it every year, 45% of Americans make them.
Okay.
Only
I fall into that category.
Only 8% keep them.
Oh, okay.
Okay, like they're successful. And what is the top reason people don't end up keeping or being successful at the resolution?
I'm going to say okay. So they either set their goals too high is one of my guesses, or they everyone keeps telling them that nobody ever fulfills
we'll do that.
Right. No one ever fulfills a New Year's resolution. So why don't you just stop now?
Okay. Well, you know what? I think you named the top 3 reasons. So according to Shape Magazine, and there are some different articles you can read out there. So according to Shape Magazine, number 1, no support.
Okay. No support.
You don't have the support system around you. You don't have a buddy or a pal saying you can do it. You have people around you saying that no one does it. Number 2, your goals are too lofty.
Okay.
One large goal usually doesn't work versus small, sectioned out little goals that are achievable, that are reasonable. So that's number 2 is too lofty. Number 3, you give up too easily.
Okay.
And so 1 and 2 are equal number 3.
Right.
Right. So those are the top reasons.
I don't even bother making a New Year's resolution until after the 3rd, because the 3rd's my birthday. And so whatever it is, it's just going to be broken on the 3rd.
That makes sense.
So I wait. And then I do try to create smaller ones. Like I did month-long ones this year, I guess it would be.
Okay.
And so January, I was a vegetarian, little things like that.
Well, apparently those smaller ones that are reasonable, that you can fit into your schedule, and because the article broke out that people don't consider their schedule. Don't consider what their budget is. Maybe they can't afford that gym membership or whatever it is, or the classes that they want to take. So to be reasonable and to make them small, achievable goals that continue.
Right.
All right. So what age group, Randall, is more successful at keeping their resolutions? People in their 20s or people who are older than 50?
Okay, so we're not asking whether they're making resolutions, like which group makes the most resolutions. It's what if they do, the
most successful group if they've made them.
If they've made them. I will say that people my age and older are kind of set in their ways, so it might be harder to
teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah, whereas people who are younger, in fact, that's why advertisers target them, because they're easily swayed,
more malleable
into a different direction. So I'm going to say the younger group.
Okay, I'll say you're right.
Oh, okay.
So 39% of people in their 20s achieve their resolutions each year if they've made them. And only 14% of people in the over 50 category will actually keep them if they've made them.
Really? That is a large difference.
A big difference.
I didn't think it was good. I thought it was going to be by a few percentage points. I didn't know.
And then going back to the number one, no support. See, we're just totally downing all the people 50 and over who want to make resolutions right now. And we're saying, don't even bother.
Don't even bother.
You're not going to. So that no support is key.
Yeah.
You want to have a support system, a friend who's going to go walking or hiking or meet you at the gym. Because when you have their encouragement, but also that commitment that you're meeting them at the trail, that you're meeting them at the gym.
Well, Patty, you did a good job.
Thank you.
Patty threw those questions together.
I was multitasking the first hour.
At the last minute, because I had all of my balls up in the air, and it was, it wasn't pretty.
No.
Okay, so 9:14 the time. It's pretty now. So is the Sierra. Beautiful blanket of white snow, but dangerous in spots. We'll learn more about that straight ahead. You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. The holidays may be winding down, but Restaurant Month here in California is just getting started. As January unfolds with a wave of culinary diversity, the hottest place in the state to take it all in is right along the Central Coast in San Luis Obispo County. Featured on local menus are ingredients grown on nearby farms, savory seafood caught that day in the Pacific Ocean, and grass-fed beef raised on the county's lush green hillsides, all served with a touch of Western flavor unique to the region. SLO County is perfectly situated to acquire the state's freshest produce, meats, and dairy products, all chosen, prepared, and perfected by chefs who know how to blend this bounty of flavors. Not only are these offerings among the best in the nation, but these foods are paired with top local wines, craft brews, and outstanding scenery. When considering your 2013 New Year's resolutions, be sure to include an education for your palate, an experience that can only come from visiting the culinary destination that is San Luis Obispo County. Oh, and I'm sure saving money is on your list of resolutions as well. Perfect, because participating restaurants are offering substantial 3-course menus for just $30. This is your opportunity to sample some of the many establishments you've talked about visiting but never have, or revisiting some of your old favorites. San Luis Obispo County's 6th annual Restaurant Month runs January 1st through the 31st, but don't wait until the month is almost over to start enjoying this annual tradition. New Year's Day is Tuesday, so make plans to spend your holiday the right way. Make your reservations now before your coveted seats are taken. For more information, head to sanluisobispocounty.com and start planning your next mouth-watering adventure.
Sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to decide?
This is Annie Lennox of Eurythmics for RAD. Please don't drink and drive, and don't drive if someone else has been drinking. Thank you.
A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Across the nation, people are stepping up for their mothers, fathers, husbands, wives, partners, sisters, and brothers. They're leading the way and walking to end Alzheimer's. the 6th leading cause of death in the nation. Together, we can reclaim the future. Walk to end Alzheimer's. Start a team. Join a team. Go to alz.org.
For the latest video and information from today's show, head on over to eatdrinkexplore.com. We're constantly updating it with the latest food, beverage, and travel trends. Also, we're launching a new section of the site called California Love. This is where we recommend great companies, and the best part is every single business we feature is locally owned. We've checked them out and are confident you'll love them as much as we do. This is a great tool to have as we head into the holiday shopping season. Since you're already spending money, you might as well support your neighbor. We choose businesses that give back to the community, care about the environment, or use only the freshest local and organic ingredients. They also make their products here, not overseas. Our California Love business recommendation tool is still in the development stages, but will be available very soon at eatdrinkexplore.com. Eat Drink Explore Media, your lifestyle information source. And welcome back to the program, everyone. Great to have you joining us. I'm your host, Randall White. You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. I'm joined by the wonderful, lovely, talented, good friend of mine, Patty Pyburn.
And you have to ask why I do this show every Sunday.
I figure if I keep talking nice enough, Patty
keep
will
those
continue
compliments
coming. All right, Patty said during the commercial break to me, Randall, something you should consider next year is maybe going down a list of your top stories from the eatdrinkexplore.com website. And I said, you know what?
Guess what?
I can just pull that up pretty quickly, actually, thanks to a little thing known as the Google.
Everyone's doing their year-enders, what was the best of this and that, and I was just wondering what was the best of us.
All right, so let's see. We'll start with we'll do the top 5, okay? And so coming in at number 5 is the fact that San Francisco's landmark Gold Dust Saloon Lounge was closing its doors. I was the one that broke that story in January of this last year, January 6th, as a matter of fact. And then it took off like wildfire, and our site just kept getting hit. Funny thing is exactly 1 year later to the day, on January 6th, we will have the Gold Dust people on our show to talk about they're opening new doors. Actually, they don't open until I think the 12th or something.
Okay.
But
cool.
but they're coming.
So obviously people didn't want them to close.
Well, they got booted out of their location where they were on Union Square, and now they've moved over to Fisherman's Wharf. And so it won't be the same physical location, but it'll still be the Gold Dust.
Sounds like they have people who want to see that happen. That's
I love
cool.
it. I think it's fantastic.
Very cool.
So that was our number 5 story. Our second most popular story, I guess it would be our 4th most popular story of the year.
We're going the opposite way.
Right, was the fact that several Tahoe resorts remain closed because there was no snow in the forecast.
My, what a different picture.
Right? In fact, our guest coming up in just a moment will talk about all the snow they have been having. Then number 3 for the year was the hantavirus warning in Yosemite National Park.
Right, got a lot of people, because that was a big story.
Yes. Our second most popular story on the eatdrinkexplore.com website was how to figure out if your produce is organic or genetically modified.
Okay.
And
obviously a big issue for us for the last year in California.
That was a huge one. And then our number 1 story. Can you guess it, Patty?
We need a drum roll.
You're never going to guess this. In fact, I was shocked and amazed that so many people were hitting this story when we wrote it this past summer. Is grilled burgers are a major source of air pollution in Southern California. More so than the big diesel trucks that are going through town. So
all those barbecue grills.
Yeah, that was our number 1 story of the year.
You have to admit that's something that gets your attention because you go, huh? Really? What?
Right. But back to the Sierra snowfall. It was dry as a bone up there 1 year ago. That is absolutely not the case right now. We bring Jenny Hatch with the Sierra Avalanche Center on the line to talk about the big snowpack up there. Hey, Jenny.
Good morning.
Yeah, great to have you with us. So how does the Sierra Avalanche Center work? This is a tool for the public to use?
Yeah, it's a free online, website. We produce the avalanche advisory on a daily basis. We have forecasters that are out assessing the snow conditions and quality on a daily basis throughout the winter, and provide that data and reporting all online for free for the public. We're a 501(c) nonprofit in partnership with the U.S. Forest Service. So so I work for the nonprofit arm. I'm the director, and then we have forecasters who are we hired and we help fund, and then the Forest Service staffs them and hires them, so they're permanent employees there.
So Jenny, when it comes to avalanches, what would create, no pun intended, but the perfect storm? If you have a certain amount of snowfall, temperature-wise, winds, what is it that sets up the snow for
like the conditions that would trigger something like that?
Super high avalanche danger.
Well, snow's dynamic and weather's dynamic, obviously, and so with that, just basically when you get a lot of snow at once, there's a lot of different scenarios that can happen. I guess I'll just preface that, but kind of in our recent situations that we've had is we've had a lot of snow at once that came on a week later. So in the snowpack we had, before all this snow, we had a storm that ended in a rain event and created kind of a weak, faceted crust layer in the snow, which means it doesn't bond very well with the next layer.
I see.
Think of it kind of like puzzle pieces, And
so it makes it almost like a slippery slide, like an icy slide for the new layer to be on top of.
Exactly. And then we just got so much at once, and when we have a lot of wind loading in different areas.
What's wind loading?
It's, when you have a lot of high wind areas and it kind of comes in a different direction and on a certain angle or aspect, and it kind of creates a pocket of heavy snow.
I see.
That's more prone to slide. So you have wind and you have weak layers, and then you have changing temperatures throughout the day. So, if we have a storm, which happens very often in this year, we'll have cold overnight and then warming during the day, which makes the snow heavier, and then it's just like heavier weight on top of that weak layer, which can create slides. So there's a lot of different things that can happen, but those are some of the major qualities that we've seen and that happen often. So.
Now, Jenny, it seems like I've heard in the news a week or so ago there were at least 2 deadly avalanche in the Sierra that happened. Is that correct? I think there were 2 people killed.
Yeah, we had some incidents at inbound at some of the ski resorts. Alpine Meadows, a snow avalanche patroller died there, and then we had something at Tahoe Donner where a snowboarder passed away. Both really unfortunate. We're very sad about that.
Shows the importance of what you're doing, though.
Right, it does. It does, and we don't do much inbounds in the resorts. We kind of forecast for out of bounds, but the way we connect with the ski resorts is that their ski patrollers kind of use our advisory on a daily basis to kind of educate themselves on what the snow conditions are elsewhere, and then they can evaluate on a site-specific level.
So when you're saying inbounds and out of bounds, when you're at a ski resort, you'll see, little fences that are put up, and it'll say, "Do not go beyond this point." And those fences are up there for a reason. Right.
Yeah, you kind of, when you exit the ski resort, you're taking your own risk, and it's important that you are aware of what the avalanche conditions are and have proper equipment with you and all that sort of thing. So.
Now, for people who are out there, are there things that they can look for, things that could signal them like this is maybe an unsafe place to be right now? Are there signs to watch for?
Well, I think what we recommend is basically, first of all, avalanches can be avoided if you're educated. So, what that means is that you've taken training. So there's different levels of avalanche schooling that you can take, classes, avalanche level 1, 2, and so forth. It's good to get that proper education in and learn how to use your safety equipment, so your beacon, your probes, your shovels, all that stuff. And then on top of all of that, stay educated, stay up on the information, make sure you're current, and on a daily basis in the wintertime, if you plan to go in the backcountry, even if it's not that day, it's important to follow the avalanche advisory throughout the winter so you understand the layers of snow, where the weak layers exist, what the conditions are.
Right.
I always feel like a lot of times my husband, for example, will get into trouble when we leave town for vacation in the winter and come home and want to go out in the backcountry. That's when you can get yourself in a situation. So it's really important to be aware of what the conditions are. Go with people that are well-trained. You have a good team with you. And then when you're out and you actually go skiing, it's in the backcountry, it's important to dig a pit for yourself and look at the site-specific conditions where you're going to be skiing. So dig a pit on a slope that's similar to where you're going to be skiing.
Well, Jenny Hatch with the Sierra Avalanche Center, lots of information on their website, which is sierraavalanchecenter.org. Very easy to find. We have a link at eatdrinkexplore.com under the program summaries. Jenny, keep up the good work and keeping people safe.
Thank you.
And a Happy New Year to you. Stick around, everyone. We have cooking tips right after the break from a local top chef. You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network, and we're back in a moment. Some of California's best restaurants, hotels, and homes are perched on steep hillsides with incredible views. But those buildings weren't just thrown there. They were placed on foundations designed and perfected by experts. Throughout much of the Bay Area, those hillside foundations were placed by S.S. Caveney Construction. With nearly 3 decades of experience dealing with the steepest and most difficult terrain, S.S. Caveney Construction is well known for being the go-to company when quality is your number one concern. Hillsides in California, as you know, are prone to drainage issues that can lead to erosion and slippage. S.S. Caveney Construction will solve those problems for you. Get a quote today by contacting the team you need. Head to S.S. Caveney, that's CAVENEY.com, and get your foundation placed correctly the first time.
I'm in almost every school bus and classroom. I go to school with your children. We say the Pledge of Allegiance together. You see me around the neighborhood and you tell me that I'm a pretty good kid. Well, I'm 1 out of every 5 children in America, and I'm struggling with hunger. This problem is closer than you think. My teacher tells me we can grow up to be whatever we want. I want to grow up to be someone who doesn't go to bed hungry. There's enough food in this country to feed everybody. Please visit feedingamerica.org today and find your local food bank for ways to help. Every dollar you donate helps provide 8 meals for kids like me, quietly struggling with hunger. Together, we are Feeding America, brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hello, this is Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and I want to tell you about my new favorite discovery, Yosemite National Park. I recently went there with my husband and children, and we walked the trails to see the breathtaking waterfalls, admired the grand meadows and giant sequoias. But the future of our national parks is uncertain. Many challenges face our parks today, from polluted air and water to development threats outside their borders and inadequate funding to protect our national heritage. That's why the National Parks Conservation Association recently completed a decade-long assessment of the challenges facing our national parks, along with proposed actions that will ensure our children and grandchildren will be able to enjoy the parks as we have. Our national parks have inspired Americans for nearly 100 years. As we approach the centennial of the National Park Service in 2016, please join us in helping to protect our national park legacy. Find out how at www.npca.org.
At the American Lung Association, we're fighting for a day when we can all breathe easier. We're fighting for clear skies over every city and healthy lungs throughout the country. We're fighting to free millions of Americans from the addictive grip of tobacco and the devastating effects of lung disease. The American Lung Association isn't just fighting for air, we're fighting for all the things that make it worth breathing, and we can use your help. See what you can do at fightingforair.org.
This is Betty White. I know you don't need one more thing to worry about, but listen. High blood pressure can cause kidney damage, blindness, heart attack, stroke, And you can have high blood pressure even if you feel all right. 1 in 7 adults has it, but it's easy to get your blood pressure checked, and you can treat it if it is too high. So don't worry about it. Don't ignore it. Just see your doctor and check it out.
For your free booklet, visit the Will Rogers Institute at wrinstitute.org and find us on Facebook and Twitter.
So it made for a challenging interview.
Welcome back to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. Here now is your fabulous host, Mr. Randall White.
I think my chuckle just got caught on the air there. We were just having a fun commercial break moment. A good day, everyone. Great to have you with us. I am your host, Randall White. As Monica Picente just said, our voice announcer today, she's working the phones. She's our producer behind the scenes.
I think her exact words were the fabulous Mr. Randall White. I don't do it as well as she does.
Our Cora Adama, who typically is on the phones, has the flu.
Yeah, poor thing.
And I said, Cora, did you get your flu shot? She goes, no, I never do. I was like,
I never do either.
You never do?
Mm-mm.
I did. So
Randall always does.
I feel like I am armed and ready. I can't get the flu. So I just figure, well, I'm just going to get the shot. That, increase my odds. So anyway, great to have you with us, everyone. That is the wonderful Patty Pyburn off to physically my right here. And we are just about ready to start Restaurant Month throughout the state of California.
It's awesome. Awesome. I love Restaurant Month. When they did that for Santa Barbara County, we tried a couple places, and it's nice. It kind of gets you out to, out of your kind of rut that you go to the same place, get the same thing you like, and it's a fun way to experiment and try new things.
Well, it originated in San Luis Obispo County, and then the state of California said, hey, that's a good idea.
Yes.
And so then the state picked up on it.
And then other places are doing it as well, like Santa Barbara County did it last time.
Yeah, and then some places have a restaurant week, and I mean, that's not to say there aren't places that have done it prior to San Luis. I'm sure there have been, but at least in terms of it was the state.
An organized, concerted way.
Yeah, and the state jumped on the San Luis Obispo one in particular and said, do you mind if we pick that up and do a Restaurant Month? And so San Luis Obispo County does have a well-established, this is their 6th annual now, chance for you to get out and try some of the local restaurants that maybe you've looked at and said, oh, I'd like to go there, but I don't know, that could set me back quite a bit of dough. No, not this, not in the coming month here, January. $30 will get you a 3-course meal per person, and so that's a good deal. And try some places that you've always wanted to go.
And typically the restaurants put together a really attractive combination for that $30 special.
Yes.
Because they really want to showcase, what they have to offer and let you have a sample of what their restaurant's like. So typically, not only is it a good $30 deal, but they add some really cool stuff to what you're getting.
They want to get you to come back.
Yes,
this is their hook,
Exactly.
And so take advantage of it.
Yeah.
You have 31 days to do it. You could eat at a different place every single day. One of the places you could try is in the beautiful town of Morro Bay. I think the state of California, I can name 4 or 5 of my favorite coastal towns, and Morro Bay is definitely in that top 5.
Yes.
There is a location there that I have yet to try, but I will after today's interview, Windows on the Water. And we have executive chef Neil Smith with us right now. Very good day to you, sir.
Good day to you. Thanks for having me.
And I imagine as a chef, these are early morning hours that we appreciate you coming in. I worked in the restaurant business, and it was a rare day that I was up prior to, say, 10 or 11 in the morning. So
it used to be early for me, but like I said earlier, I have a 5-year-old now, so.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Patty's a parent. She knows. Yes.
I drink lots of coffee.
Right. Well, cheers. I have some as well here. And so, Chef Neil, your restaurant is known for having some of the best seafood. And we had a story last hour about, I don't know if you caught this or not, but there is some level of seafood fraud that goes on out there. So, we don't know where it's at. If it's the distributor, if it's the wholesaler, the supplier. Where
along the chain does it happen?
Does it happen? How do you go about securing the seafood that you sell at Windows on the Water?
Well, it's a combination, I think, of a couple of things. One is you gotta have knowledge of what product you're using, and if you're around it enough, over the years, you can tell just by looking at it.
You can spot it.
You can spot it. If you can't, You haven't been in the business long enough.
Right.
The other thing is you got to trust your purveyors. You got to trust where it's being sourced out of.
Mm-hmm.
I remember back in the day in Morro Bay, we used to be able to go right down to the dock and get it right off the boat.
Nice.
Which
Yeah.
hasn't really been the case too much in the last couple of years.
Is it because there are fewer boats going out?
Just all the politics of the whole thing, just the Seafood Watch program and everything, trying to keep regulations on things.
Right.
So, but it's a combination of a lot of things. But
you follow the Seafood Watch program at Windows on the Water.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as all seafood, we only use things that are rated in the green from the Fishwise.
Which is considered sustainable, the green zone. Yellow could go either way, and red is like, please avoid.
Please don't, like Chilean sea bass and things like that. But we carry that over into our other side of the menu, our farms and stuff. We don't use any kind of cattle or pig or chicken that has been raised with antibiotics. Everything is free range.
And you're seeing this more and more at restaurants now. It's so nice. It used to be just the super unique restaurants that would have that sort of those
It is
offerings.
becoming more of a best practices kind of a thing for
I
restaurants.
think people are just more on the healthy kick in the last couple of years, and people are starting to understand a little bit more about what they're eating and watching.
And not just what's healthy for us, but what's healthy for our community or, the environment or what have you, but kind of a bigger look at that, not just what's healthy for me.
Yeah. No, for sure. So, all right, since not everything on the menu at Windows on the Water is seafood based, but you do a lot of seafood, and so if anyone would know a great sauce, because sometimes that's the key, right? A great sauce to pair with seafood, you would. And so you have chosen one, and we'll share this recipe online at eatdrinkexplore.com later today. I'll do it on the drive to my New Year's destination with a little laptop in hand.
Yes, you'll be working.
I'll put it on there, yes. And so you can make your own super fancy special fish sauce. And all courtesy of Chef Neil Smith. Okay, so what is the name of this sauce?
Well, this is a piccata style sauce, and the reason I've chosen this is because this sauce has been on one of our #1 selling dishes since back when I was a sous chef there, which is the sandabs. This sauce is pretty much versatile in all white fish, shrimp, everything except for maybe salmon.
I love sandabs, by the way.
Yeah,
the minute you said that, I was like, It's a place called Marin Joe's up in the Bay Area. It makes some fantastic sandabs. Okay, continue.
It's fairly simple to make, and for a lot of guys, we'll be like, well, I need something to impress a woman, and it doesn't take a whole lot of talent to pull this off.
This is something they can pull off.
You can pull it off.
You just got a lot of people's attention. Everyone's okay.
Tell me more.
You can pull it off pretty simple, and like I said, it's good on mashed potatoes. I mean, it's pretty good. You start with just some olive oil in a pan.
Okay.
A little bit of capers.
Okay.
Capers, which is a staple of most seafood dishes. Shaved garlic.
Okay.
Diced tomato.
So when you say shaved garlic, you take the garlic clove and then like a cheese grater and
No? If you're really talented, you can use a knife, or if you have a mandolin. But you want it.
So
really
you want some
thin.
music playing in the background? Oh no, not that kind of mandolin. Okay.
So funny.
Right, okay.
Watch your fingers.
Right.
Shaved garlic, capers, diced tomatoes, a little chili flake. Saute that down and deglaze it with a splash of white wine.
Okay.
What
does deglazing mean?
It means you're taking all the stuff in the pan and
all those good flavors.
You're infusing it back
okay.
together with this wine. You're breaking it off the pan. You're creating this a robust thing of flavors together in this pan.
They're all marrying.
They're all marrying.
Does
yes.
it matter if the white wine is sweet or dry?
I would use you don't want to use like a Riesling or anything. I would use a Chardonnay. Chardonnay is pretty much the white wine of cooking.
That's good to know. I didn't realize that.
Deglaze
you
with
drink a little, you add some to the pan.
It's definitely the white wine of my cooking.
Wine.
Drink more than you,
Right.
Deglaze it with the white wine, hit it with a little bit of cream.
Okay.
Some chopped parsley, and then turn the heat down just a little bit, and then just slowly start adding some cubes of butter until it becomes nice and thick.
You just named Patty Pyburn's number one favorite ingredient. Butter.
Butter, yeah. Butter is a staple of life, isn't it?
Right. And then you did you say you reduce it?
You're not gonna reduce it. You're gonna add the butter until it becomes thick enough.
Okay.
Add a little salt and pepper to taste, and
no flour.
Oh no. Flour's out.
Okay.
No. Flour is 1990s.
No, we're not making gravy.
Right. No. Well, so is my wardrobe. I guess that's why I'm using still using flour. This is
good information for you, Randall.
The only thing we use flour in is making bread. That's about it.
When I was a kid, this goes back even like to the early 80s, I would take in a pan butter, salt, and pepper, and then throw in some flour till it got a little bubbly, and then I would add milk to that and create just a basic white sauce. Isn't that a basic white sauce? I don't know, because that's how I did it. And then here's the part you're gonna love. Then I would add Velveeta to that.
That's a basic cheese sauce.
Yeah, it was delicious. I thought it was really good. And then I put it on top of those
on toast.
Everyone said I had the best macaroni and cheese ever, and that's what it was. I poured it over, some macaroni that I overcooked every time.
I was gonna say that wasn't sounding too good until you put the cheese in there.
Right? Yeah. So that was
Velveeta. Yep.
That was my whole thing. And so that's called a piccata sauce.
It's a piccata sauce, yes.
And is that the base, and then you can add other things to it?
You're not going to need to add anything to it.
No.
So you can put that over fish, basically, or you were saying mashed potatoes, whatever.
Any white fish works, sea bass, sand dabs.
Right. Sand dabs are good. Or as my mom says, sand dollars. She said
she calls them sand dollars.
Those sand dollars we had the last time I was here, my mom. For the 19th time, they're sand dabs.
That'll hurt your teeth a little bit.
Yes.
Right. Hey, do you have a seafood cooking question? Perhaps seafood is on your menu for the new year, and you just are like, I just can't cook seafood. Well, you have an expert in studio right now. You can ask the question. Here's the number: 805. 805 is the area code. 545-0332. 805-545-0332. You can speak directly with Chef Neil Smith from Windows on the Water in Morro Bay. Get your seafood cooking question answered. We're back in just a moment. You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. The holidays may be winding down, but Restaurant Month here in California is just getting started. As January unfolds with a wave of culinary diversity, the hottest place in the state to take it all in is right along the Central Coast in San Luis Obispo County. Featured on local menus are ingredients grown on nearby farms, savory seafood caught that day in the Pacific Ocean, and grass-fed beef raised on the county's lush green hillsides, all served with a touch of Western flavor unique to the region. SLO County is perfectly situated to acquire the state's freshest produce, meats, and dairy products, all chosen, prepared, and perfected by chefs who know how to blend this bounty of flavors. Not only are these offerings among the best in the nation, but these foods are paired with top local wines, craft brews, and outstanding scenery. When considering your 2013 New Year's resolutions, be sure to include an education for your palate, an experience that can only come from visiting the culinary destination that is San Luis Obispo County. Oh, and I'm sure saving money is on your list of resolutions as well. Perfect, because participating restaurants are offering substantial 3-course menus for just $30. This is your opportunity to sample some of the many establishments you've talked about visiting but never have, or revisiting some of your old favorites. San Luis Obispo County's 6th annual Restaurant Month runs January 1st through the 31st, but don't wait until the month is almost over to start enjoying this annual tradition. New Year's Day is Tuesday, so make plans to spend your holiday the right way. Make your reservations now before your coveted seats are taken. For more information, head to sanluisobispocounty.com and start planning your next mouth-watering adventure.
Hi, this is Rick Moranis. Some people are more careful about what they feed their cars than what they feed their bodies. They know that the wrong fuel can hurt a car's performance and maybe ruin the engine. But the wrong food can have the same effect on your health. Too much fat, too many calories, and too little of what's good for you can affect how well you feel and even lead to serious illness. So eat right. It'll help you keep running smooth.
For more information, visit the Will Rogers Institute at wrinstitute.org or call toll-free 877-957-7575 and find us on Facebook and Twitter. Wayne Brady for the Will Rogers Institute.
Hey folks, I've got something that will truly revolutionize your life. It's called exercise. It will get you from here to there, allow you to spend time with your family and meet new people, cut inches from your waistline, and improve the quality of your life. Even help improve your self-image. Sexy. So when you've got to choose between moving around or lying on the couch, choose exercise. You won't be sorry.
For your free booklet, visit wrinstitute.org or call toll-free 877-957-7575 and find us on Facebook and Twitter.
For the latest video and information from today's show, head on over to eatdrinkexplore.com. We're constantly updating it with the latest food, beverage, and travel trends. Also, we're launching a new section of the site called California Love. This is where we recommend great companies, and the best part is every single business we feature is locally owned. We've checked them out and are confident you'll love them as much as we do. This is a great tool to have as we head into the holiday shopping season. Since you're already spending money, you might as well support your neighbor. We choose businesses that give back to the community, care about the environment, or use only the freshest local and organic ingredients. They also make their products here, not overseas. Our California Love business recommendation tool is still in the development stages, but will be available very soon at eatdrinkexplore.com. Eat Drink Explore Media, your lifestyle information source. Good day. 9:49 the time. Great to have you with us for our final segment of the final hour of the final show for 2012. And
I can't believe it.
I know. I'm your host, Randall White.
First of all, Randall, I can't believe we're still here. We made it past the 21st.
I know. You're
Doomsday
as
passed.
shocked as I am.
Yeah. And here we still are.
That Armageddon didn't come. Patty Pyburn with me here in the studio, and we are joined by Chef Neil Smith, Windows on the Water in Morro Bay. If you missed it, he gave us what is a very easy but super successful sauce that you can use
tasty.
with any whitefish, mashed potatoes, whatever you just want to top with this piccata sauce. So we will have the ingredients and the how-to online at eatdrinkexplore.com following the show. We'll attach his video clip, and then underneath the video clip, you'll have all the proportions and that sort of thing, so that you can impress your friends and and have everyone be like, "This is the greatest sauce." But here's the deal: in order to use the recipe, you have to attribute. You can't say you just came up with it. No,
right.
You have to say
credit where credit is due.
Yeah, credit where credit's due. You have to say, "Oh, I got this from the executive chef at Windows on the Water." That sounds impressive too. So, all right. Great to have you here, first of all. And you were just telling us during the commercial break that since January is Restaurant Month, that Windows on the Water found it to really work for them. People came and sampled the meals for $30, 3 courses, and you found that you had a lot of return visitors from that sort of thing.
Yeah, like I was telling you, it's our restaurant it is pricey due to the fact that we buy sustainable stuff, all organic.
All Seafood Watch, all everything. Yeah.
So it kind of, you're not just paying for the view, you're also paying for the type of food you're eating there. And Restaurant Month, the first year it happened, it really worked out well because people were able to afford to come and enjoy 3 courses for $30 at our establishment.
And typically just the main course would run you about that, right?
Yeah, or more.
Yeah.
So it worked out so well that we just, at the end of January, we sat down and we said, well, why don't we just continue to do this? Except for Fridays and Saturdays. And we've been doing that for the last 5 years or whatever it is now. And we call it the Chef's Prefix menu. During the other months, and we get we sell a lot of it, and it's really worked out well for us. And I know other restaurants have done the same thing. They've carried it on, and I think it's good, because it lets people, especially in January, Christmas just happened. Everybody's pockets are not as deep as they were, and
trust me, someone whose birthday is January 3rd, I know how thin pockets are when it comes to my birthday time. Not to mention, it's like cold and flu season. So, and everyone's made New Year's resolutions. We're not eating out.
And
we're
it's
not
nice
whatever.
for people to be able to do something, in their own backyard that's affordable and fun and get you out of the house. And I find myself, and I feel like there's other people who go to the same place over and over and get the same food because it's the tried and true. I know I like it.
Right.
But this is a great way to experiment and try other things here that we may not otherwise sample.
For sure. Chef Neil, when people are just getting started on trying to cook seafood, do you have a favorite, with beef you'd say a cut of beef, but a favorite fish
that's hard to ruin?
That's hard to ruin, right. Like something, it's a good starter fish, like halibut's not it for me, I found. Not on the grill anyway.
Randall had a bad halibut experience.
I did, but what would you suggest if someone's going out shopping today to pick up something for, a little New Year's feast or something? What cut would you say, well, it's hard to go wrong with that?
Ahi.
Ahi?
You can't really ruin ahi because all you got to do is sear the outside of it.
And then you're done?
And then you're done.
Good to know.
And it has such a great texture. Everyone loves it. It has that falls on what would you say, but more the chicken side of...
Yeah, it has more texture. I don't know how to describe it. Not as delicate.
Mm-hmm. It's a little more meaty.
Meaty.
There you go.
Another one is halibut. Halibut's such a moist piece of fish that unless you leave it in the oven and take a nap, you should be okay.
I should mention that the only reason I messed up the halibut is I tried putting it on the grill after, because it does flake so much. It's really not the best grill meat, right?
No, just a nice sear on one side and in the oven.
Yeah. In the oven, okay.
That's good.
And use that piccata sauce. There you go.
Right, and then combine it with the piccata, and you're set. How about salmon? Do people find that more difficult? Is it because this piccata sauce would not go on salmon because salmon's not a white fish?
Right.
It could.
I have a question for what does go on salmon. What are flavors that are good to blend with salmon?
Dill.
Okay.
Dill's usually
that's definitely standard.
with salmon.
Mm-hmm.
Lemon and dill. There you go. Salmon is not one of those things you really. It's such a strong flavor in itself. You don't really need to cover it up too much.
Right.
Which is why just a squeeze of lemon and a little dill is probably work.
Is part of being a good chef knowing when to hold back on flavors and let whatever you're highlighting
itself.
Right.
You definitely want to let the food speak for itself. You start covering up a bunch of throwing a bunch of ingredients in there, you start to lose the taste of what you're trying to go for.
And then you have competing flavors too,
and
right?
Then you got a battle going on there.
What are some ingredients you could use with, say, fish, for instance, that would create a competing flavor situation that just in the end is
a don't do, a don't put this with that?
Are there any don't do's?
I wouldn't add veal stock.
That sounds like something you would not want to do.
Okay, good to know. Check. No veal stock.
No beef broth on the salmon.
That makes sense.
Well, Chef Neil Smith, Windows on the Water in Morro Bay. During the commercial break, he sort of looked at me with a little bit of an eye roll, never been to Windows on the Water.
Yeah.
and I'm like, no, I haven't.
And now you have no excuse with this restaurant month.
I don't.
Promotion.
No excuse, so I will be there for sure. The old adage used to be the better the view, the worse the food. And I've noticed within the last 10 to 20 years, that was sort of an 70s, 80s sort of thing, But I've noticed that in more recent years, some of the restaurants with the best view also have the best food, which I think maybe chefs were trying to get out there and break that whole, myth. Or it was kind of fact at one point. But that's not the case anymore, especially with your spot there.
It's got to be food first.
Yeah, food first. And then the view is just an enhancement. So, Chef Neil Smith, thank you. And we will put your recipe for the piccata sauce online at eatdrinkexplore.com. You can find a link to Windows on the Water there as well. Just go to our program summary, and you'll find links for all of the guests that we had on the show this week. And then in the new year, in 2013, we have a lot of great guests as well, including the owners of the Gold Dust Lounge in San Francisco. The owner himself, I think, is 90.
Whoa!
It started the Gold Dust decades ago. It became an institution and then got shut down this year, but it's reopening. So we'll talk with them about that. And then Gabe Saglia joins us with his first
Great
of the
deals.
year travel picks from Travel Zoo. You've been listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. We so appreciate it. Have a very happy and safe New Year. I'm Randall White. For Patty Pyburn and the rest of the crew here at Eat, Drink, Explore, make it a great Sunday fun day.
You've been listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore radio program. If you missed any of our segments today, look for them online or through our free Apple and Android apps. Catch you back right here next week.